Few-shot prompting is when you provide examples or shots to the AI in order to guide its response to your questions or commands. Think of it as simply teaching the AI with examples of your own. It may take a bit more typing, but it can really double or even triple the effectiveness of your prompt. This technique is particularly useful for tasks that require a specific format or style in the response. For example, let's say you are launching your online store's newest t-shirt product and you want ChatGPT to write the product description for you. But this can get you a long-winded product description. Instead, use the few-shot technique to get a response that follows the same style or the same structure of previous product descriptions, which we will use as examples. Here we can see how ChatGPT matched the two-sentence structure from the provided examples, as well as the emotional tone. But keep in mind, it's not always this simple and this easy. If you're not careful with the kind of examples you provide, you may be guiding the AI in the wrong direction, giving you terrible responses and ultimately failing at your task. By the end of this video, you'll not only know how to use few-shot prompting correctly and its closely related brother, one-shot prompting, but you will also know what kind of situations few-shot does well and what kind of situations it does poorly. If you're interested in a more beginner/foundational technique, I strongly recommend you watching my video on zero-shot prompting here before watching the rest of this video. Let's start by understanding few-shot's little brother, one-shot. One-shot prompting is a subset of few-shot prompting where instead of having multiple shots or examples, one-shot prompting has exactly one example. And you may be thinking, is there really a difference here? For me, one-shot prompting is best for more straightforward tasks where a single example can easily capture the essence of what I'm after. Think about this. Pretend your company needs to hire a new role and you've been tasked in writing the job description for it. Now, I don't know about you, but I really hate writing these and I'd rather have ChatGPT give it a go. Very simply, I tell ChatGPT that I am attaching an example of an existing job description for a payroll specialist, and now I wanted to rewrite it for a data analyst role. Looking only at the format of the response and ignoring its content, we can see how the response follows the same format as the example we provided in the prompt. In there, you'll see the job title, an introduction, job responsibilities, and minimum requirements. There is also an additional sentence ChatGPT added, but I'm okay with that. So what can we conclude from this little exercise? Well, in this instance, providing one good example was enough for ChatGPT to mimic its structure to get us a brand new job description for a completely different role. Providing a second example in the prompt, making it few-shot prompt, would have done very little to improve the response, at least based on our general objectives. Up until now, we've covered prompts with many examples, one example, but what about no examples? The thing is, not all prompts need or should have examples to get great results. Depending on your end goal, you should consider excluding examples within your prompt. Let's take a look at some situations where you should avoid few-shot or one-shot. By far, the number one reason when you should avoid using few-shot prompting is when creativity and exploration are critical. Say you want ChatGPT to help you brainstorm ideas for a birthday or holiday gift. You provide context to ChatGPT about who you're gifting to and also include examples of what they like in the past. However, here lies the double-edged sword. The problem with this prompt is that the three examples in it are all very similar, essentially drawing-related type of gifts. So ChatGPT will pick up that pattern and also respond mostly with drawing-related gifts. This is a classic example of overfitting. Now, we can fix the prompt earlier by providing a wider range of past gifts, but probably a better idea is a more open-ended yet contextually relevant prompt. A zero-shot prompt like this one keeps the same relevant context of the gift recipient, but does not really limit the gift ideas to any category. Looking at these results, I really like a few of these quite a lot. I think I'll go with the Play Kitchen set. By the way, if you're interested in leveraging ChatGPT to give you amazing gift ideas, watch my video on it here. On the opposite end, when creativity is not so important and specificity is highly critical, such as in legal documents or coding scripts, providing examples in your prompt may generally give the AI some of the guidance into what the response should look like, but it may not catch all of the nuances required for a successful output. Take Ben as an example. Ben just started a coffee shop and is writing his HR procedures for his employees. Ben already has a document on how to request time off and wants to use this as a basis for ChatGPT to write a document on how to request a schedule change. In this example, these two procedures are very similar, but there's obviously no way ChatGPT can pick up all the nuances of these steps without specific guidance. For example, requesting time off might involve submitting dates in advance and waiting for manager approval, while requesting a schedule change could include additional steps like finding a coworker to cover shifts. For these type of tasks, a different prompting technique that includes detailed instructions might work better than examples alone. Now that you know when to avoid few shot prompting, what about when you should absolutely use few shot prompting? There are two main reasons as I see it. Number one, consistency. When you need consistency in the response, or in other words, when you need to match the format or style of something already existing. Earlier in the video, we saw how providing examples of unique product descriptions still yielded a very good response from ChatGPT when asking to describe a new graphic tee. It replicated the same length and tone from the example. And remember, this also works for long text too, such as when we created a new job description based on an existing one. Number two, structured reasoning. Few shot prompting does not only have the ability to mimic format or style as I showed you earlier, it can also mimic how you think through decisions by analyzing the patterns in how those decisions are made. Have you ever heard the expression monkey see, monkey do? Let's say I'm a fourth grade science teacher grading short answer questions about the water cycle. Here, I provided ChatGPT a simple rubric on how I score student responses out of 10 points. There are 5 points for completeness for correctly explaining each process, 3 points for clarity based on the logical flow of that explanation, and 2 points for grammar. I've also provided here examples of student responses I have personally graded. This is what makes it few shot. Now, I can ask ChatGPT to grade new responses based on the rubric and the examples I provided. Let's test this out with my very own written responses for explaining the water cycle. Don't laugh if I don't get a perfect score. All right, 5 points for completeness, 3 points for clarity, and 2 points for grammar. That's great. Look at that, a perfect score. How about it? By now, you should know that few shot prompting is a powerful technique when you need the AI to understand specific formats, styles, tones, and even reasoning. But what happens if the task at hand is too complex and examples just won't cut it? What if there are multiple steps or the response requires multiple inputs? In the next video, we'll explore prompt chaining, a game changer technique that lets you guide the AI through a series of steps to get exactly what you need.